Okay, I'm Paul Corder again with Perfect Golf Event. We help people with their event websites, contests, activities, and formats. And so we like to do educational sessions. So this is a new webinar. So if I've got some typos in it or some things that are a lot of sync, it's because I'm always adding to it, but hopefully you'll find it useful. As a housekeeping tip, you don't need to write everything down. I'll be glad to get you a copy of the presentation afterwards as well. So just sit back. We'll kind of walk through the process. And there'll be some late arrivals, which I'll remind that I'm going to give them the handouts as well, but we'll stay on track here. So today we're going to talk about how to raise more money in terms of your event, meaning a lot of events will have a good event, they'll raise a certain amount of money, but they don't hit the bottom line that they want. So today we're going to talk about how to get more add-on revenue from your event with different fun activities and things that you can do with the players. And hopefully it enhances the experience and also enhances your bottom line for your event. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And we're going to break it into different sections. We're going to talk about things prior to the event, right before to tee off, what's going to happen on the course, and then what you can do after the event. So we're going to go through a number of topics here that'll help you have some ideas that you can apply to your event. And again, for late arrivals, you don't have to copy everything down. I'll be glad to send you a copy of the presentation. All right, so things you can do prior to your event day, and we'll kind of walk through these in a minute, but these are things you can focus on to try and generate some revenue prior to your event and get people kind of excited about your event and engaged in your event. So first thing you want to think about, if you haven't had an online auction, it's a good way to get things started in terms of revenue generation, getting a place where people can take a look at some items that you've got from your donations. So you can raise more money, you can engage with your supporters. It helps bring people back to your website for more exposure for your sponsors. You can generate revenue before your event because you can have items coming up on your auction, and then items can sell, have a certain closing date, you can add more items. I'll talk about sourcing them in a second. Well, now here it comes. Here's the sourcing. So a lot of events ask us, okay, I want to do an online auction. So what do I do? And a lot of times you'll have people get things for a silent auction the day of your event. We like to see a start, with an online auction. So you're going to look to committee members, supporters, volunteers, sponsors and players, local merchants. Golf course can donate rounds of golf. Sports and entertainment venues in your market that can donate tickets and seats and things like that are all sources for your revenue. Local corporations have donations that they can give. So there's lots of sources for things to put into your auction. Hopefully they're all donated so the auction items become, free revenue to you. You might have celebrities in your area. You can ask for memorabilia that they can have and sign. And what you can do is you add all these items into your auction so people can go and bid on them. And that's the way you start engaging people. So before you even start your event, you can launch an online auction and it can link off your golf event website. If you want a copy, I can send you a sample of the solicitation letter that we use for our events to ask sponsors for donations for the auction. And what I try to encourage people to do when they're doing an auction, don't just go out and say, hey, could you please give me something for my golf event auction? I tell people to create what I call donorship packages. So you use the term sponsorship packages. I call them donorship packages. And what it basically says is, if somebody's going to donate, and remember, you're competing with lots of other fundraising events. So if you're asking people for donations, you want to be creative in the way you do it. So you want to tell them a clear message why you're raising the funds. And then when people are soliciting donations, make sure you train them on how the funds are used, what's the location of the event, who's attending, and how it can benefit by bringing new clients into their business. So when I talk about donation packages, donorship packages, what I mean is bundle things together and say, hey, if you donate a $100 item, you're going to get your logo name on the donor banner. $250, you're going to get the banner, and you can put some promotional items or offers in the player gift bags. If you do 500, we're going to give you separate signage at the event. 1,000, we're going to invite you to the reception. And something that's priceless, for example, they give you a condominium for a week, or they host a dinner party and a wine tasting. you get to introduce them to the event. They can, present the donated item. They get a thank you gift. So I create these donorship packages. Most events don't do this. It's a good way to do it. And remember, donors can become full event sponsors for your event. So I use donors to feed into my golf event for future sponsors for other kind of sponsorships. So I'm not going to read this to you, but if you want to do an online auction, you can go to perfectsilentauction.com. And there's other venues out there you can use, but we've set ours up to make it pretty user-friendly to set up an auction in minutes. And not only can you upload your items, but you can pull consignment items from our categories. So you can put things on your auction that you can offer, and you only pay for them if somebody does a winning bid where you're making money on it. So just go to Perfect Silent Auction, and it'll give you all the details. So that's the first step, trying to raise money before your event is an auction. We've also put in a new thing this year, which is basically an electronic raffle, and it's really unique. It's exclusive to the Perfect Golf event, and we've really had great success with it so far. Basically, it's an electronic. So instead of having those little blue raffle tickets that get COVID all over them, people enter into this golf surprise, and they go. You can do it on your website or at registration. So let's say they pay $20 to get into it. You set the prize pool. So let's say 80 players pay $20. You get $1,600, and you say, we're going to give away. We're going to keep some for the nonprofit, but we're going to put a prize pool together of $1,000. That's going to be part of the raffle. On the day of the events, the players who are entered, just all they walk in is we're going to give you a phone number that's unique to your event, and the players are just going to text a phrase to that phone number. They don't have to download an app, and they're going to get a welcome screen. So players receive a welcome message. You can sell it as a sponsorship. So it could say, hey, welcome to Golf Surprise, sponsored by Seagate. So the sponsor logo will show up on all the Golf Surprise messages. And the phrase, the sponsor's text could be a sponsor name. So they come up, there's a sign there that says, if you've entered into Golf Surprise, text the phrase, and I'm doing one where it's a Lexus dealer. So the phrase they're going to text is Lexus. Then they're going to get the welcome message. You can do a restaurant, Red Robin. Could be an insurance agent. Just text State Farm. So it ties into the sponsorship. Or you can, for example, here, Seagate. Text Seagate, then they get a welcome message. After the round is over, then at that point, they just check to see if they've won, and they answer a couple of questions. It's like, for example, how do you rate the golf course? How well do you know our organization? And they're randomly, players will be assigned their winning. So $1,000 you had put in the pot will be spread out among one in eight golfers will get some kind of win. So they get anywhere from $20 to the grand prize, $500. And then they can just walk in the pro shop, and you've arranged with the pro shop to say, when somebody comes in, they say they wear $500, that's okay. Just let them have $500 of credit in the pro shop, or if they won $50, they can buy stuff. So it's easy. You can either give them cash or you can give them credit in the pro shop. It's a great way to raise money, gather some information, easy, and avoids that whole raffle ticket kind of thing. So we've got a silent auction set up. Maybe we do Golf Surprise. You've got your website set up. And remember that on your website, again, we're trying to raise more money. If you use a Perfect Golf event, you can activate the donation feature. So people are registering for the event can donate to your event before your event. Also, because of the website, they can register for your event. But the other thing you can do with our Perfect Golf event is you can set up so they can buy other things on the website when they're buying their foursome. So they might say, hey, we're going to have a foursome, but while I'm here, I might as well buy the super ticket for everybody. Maybe I'll get a hat, or I'll enter the ball drop or a putting contest, or buy some mulligans. Again, always to get revenue from the group while they've got their credit card out. Saves you a lot of time selling this stuff at the event because they pre-sold it, and it all downloads into an Excel spreadsheet, so you'll have all the information. Another thing to think about, a lot of my events miss this, and again, for your late arrivals, I'll be glad to send you the presentation, but make sure you ask people if they have matching funds. I can't tell you how many organizations miss this opportunity because a lot of companies will match funds. So if people are making a donation to your event or entering the event, the amount that goes towards donation can be matching funds for corporations. So don't forget to mention matching funds on your website. A couple other things to do prior to tee off, we're going to get into more contests in a second, is many of the golfers in your event aren't regular golfers. So offer them a preview day. Work out a golf course or special rate for the golf course for them to go do a practice round at the golf course. Maybe you bundle it together in one day. The golf course works with you. They set up a swing clinic that has golf, maybe breakfast or lunch, a discount on equipment. The golf course will do a revenue share with you. But it's a nice way for people to go out and be comfortable at the golf course. Maybe they only play golf a couple times a year, so they get their swing fixed a little bit. It's a nice way to generate not only interest in your event, but also to generate some additional revenue prior to having your event day. Because you can hold this, a couple months before your event or a month before your event. All right, so we haven't even got to tee off yet. So here now before tee off. So let's look at some ideas that you could do before tee off. So we're going to talk about auction preview, ball drop, putting contest, and a super ticket. So auction preview, if you're doing an auction, this is a perfect time to set up a preview. So stage your auction near the registration area. You can always move it later. Have some bid sheets available with notes. So you have an online auction, but then you can also have a silent auction the day of your event. Have bid sheets available with notes that the auction will close, during the award ceremony, but you might want to offer a buy now feature. So you might have a really nice item and you expect it to go for $400 during the auction. But if you say, hey, if you really like the items, you can buy it now for $500. So I do that. I offer a buy now option and I hold back some items. So if some things sell during the preview, then I can fill in the spots on my auction for later on. So set up an auction preview. So when people, before they tee off, get to see, can start bidding, and then you're going to close your auction out after your event. If you haven't done a golf ball drop's a really good idea. I just did one in Jacksonville where it was just for a high school, and the high school raised $20,000 doing a helicopter ball drop. So you can sell numbered golf balls. They can be dropped from a helicopter, which is one way to do it. Some people will work with the fire department. I'll show you that example with a fire truck to come in and drop it. And I just did one in Ohio where we used a drone to drop the golf balls. It's a great sponsorship opportunity, and it gives you a chance to raise some money before the event. For example, you could sell 100 golf balls for $50. You sell it as a sponsorship for $1,500, so that's your revenue is $9,000. If you're going to use a helicopter, it's going to cost you around $1,500 for the helicopter to come in and drop the golf balls. You make a really nice prize for the winner so more people enter, and you end up with a net revenue for $5,500, and you've already paid for the helicopter. So you've got net revenue of $5,500 there. So it's a great way to get started. Before the event, you can do the drop, or some people will sell entries at the event, but then afterwards, they'll have the ball drop right after golf. So here's an example of a fire truck ball drop. Again, they might say they're going to take some marketing materials to put together, cost $500. They pay $500 to the fire department as a donation to bring out the golf balls, and then they sell golf balls for $25 or $50. Give a nice prize to the winner, and you can make $3,700 or $7,200. And again, it depends on how much you do it. But in Jacksonville, we sold the golf balls for $50, had a $5,000 prize, and we still netted $20,000. So if you're not doing a kind of ball drops, it's a good opportunity to raise some additional funds. Another contest to think about, and this has really been a fun one that we've done a couple of events last year. We have a bucket list chipping contest. And what we do on the practice range is we set up some buckets, and in the buckets, we have some certificates for some gifts. Could be a free set of tires, could be a Ruth Chris gift card, could be a bottle of wine, it could be an ultra filter change, whatever it is. And they pay an entry to get in there, and they pay $10 per shot, and they can go ahead and they can say, look, I'm going to buy 10 shots or whatever it's going to be, and they chip at the buckets, and if they get it into the bucket, they win that prize. Then you restock with another prize. It's really a fun contest to run before your event. Did a lot of them last year. And again, for events, you'll get lots of donated items, so you can put some into your auction. You could do some of this in this bucket list chipping contest. You want to give people some fun stuff to do before tee off. You might do a putting contest. I like doing a 50-50 putting contest. This is one I just did in Florida. 2 putts for $50, and they get this one, the winner got a $500 gift certificate to the pro shop. So you can either do a $500 gift certificate or you can do a 50-50 putting contest. And you can bundle this stuff into one entry. So for example, at this one event, we had what we call the super ticket. And so they got into the 50-50 putting contest and they got into the golf ball drop. And we gave them this ticket to say, hey, you're entered to both. So for $150, they got into everything in one ticket. We call this a super ticket. And here's one I just designed for another event. And their super ticket is, hey, you got entry into a putting contest for $5,000. And we're going to pick 4 buyers to take a shot for $1 million. So they sold this for $45, and golfers entered, and they got a chance to putt for $5,000 plus a chance to be in the $1 million shot drawing. So it's a nice way to bundle stuff together without having to have multiple transactions. So you're not walking around. I'll give you an example. Here's what I call the ultimate super ticket. But instead of saying to someone, hey, give me $20 to get in a putting contest, $20 for the chipping contest, give me some money for the ball drop, give me some money for the raffle, you just put it on to one super ticket, and that gives them the opportunity to just say, give you one thing. We sold this for $100. Everybody bought it, and it made this transaction very simple. And we put it on the website so they could buy it ahead of time. All right, we haven't even teed off yet. We got lots of stuff going on. So let's talk about some contests that you can do on the golf course. All right. This is what I call a golden ticket. Love this one. The golden ticket is if they hit the green, they win the posted prize. So at this event, we sold it for $200. We had them the chance. They had 3 holes that they could win prize on for. So entered for $200. And if they hit the green on this hole, they won some FootJoy shoes worth $175. If they hit it on this one, they got a Peter Millar shirt worth $95. And if they hit it on this, they got some Pro V golf balls worth $50. So if they did it, then if they hit all 3, they got all the prizes. We sold $16,000 entries at the event. We paid out $7,500 in prizes for people who hit the green and won shoes or won a shirt, won some golf balls. We netted $8,500. It didn't slow up play at all. Players had a great time. We called it a golden ticket, and I've done it before. I did one, and you can do one for less. So this is one where the event didn't want to charge as much, so they brought the prizes down to golf balls, a Nike shirt, and a $50 gift card to Panera. So again, you could set the golden ticket up any way you want, but it's a great way to raise some additional money by having some contests out on the golf course. And here's an example. Again, I did it for the events where we've done it where for the $100, this is what, this is an example of paying for an enhanced hole-in-one contest. For this part of the golden ticket, the golfers paid $100 because on the golf course, we had some par 3 hole. We had a $10,000 par 3 hole, and it came with 3 bonus prizes, like a Yeti cooler or a putter. We said, by the way, if you want to have something more fun, pay us $100, and if you get a hole-in-one on the bonus prizes, where there's a Yeti cooler or a putter or a rangefinder, instead you'll get a family vacation in Florida or Hawaii, a chance to go to the player or Super Bowl tickets, or golf safari to South Africa. So they paid for an upgraded hole-in-one contest. So if somebody didn't want it and they got a hole-in-one where the Yeti cooler was, they'd win the Yeti cooler. But if they wanted to take a chance on having a better prize, they paid $100. At this event, 92% of the golfers bought in. And this gives you an example. So you say to the golfers, look, I call it a golf ticket. This is what's included in your event: golf, access to the practice facility, all the stuff they get with their normal registration fee. But give me $100 more, and instead of getting a gift card on this hole, which is the bonus holes, you get tickets to the Masters. Over here, instead of a rangefinder, you get Super Bowl tickets. Instead of TaylorMade irons worth $1,000, you get to go to Pebble Beach worth $10,000. So they pay you a little more to get into these contests. And if they get a hole-in-one, they get a better prize. And you'll raise a lot more money with this offer. Very unique. We'll be glad to explain to you how it works. Last couple ones that are contests that I like. I do one here in St. Louis called Golf Course Poker. This is really fun. Doesn't take any time. And basically we said to the teams, okay, it's $100 per team. When you get to one of the par 3 holes, if your team member hits the green, you're going to get a card. One of the volunteer, or 2 cards, it just depends how many par 3 holes you have. So in this event, they got 2 cards if they hit the green. They had a volunteer in the card. They hit the green when they came up. They gave them 2 cards randomly. So as they went through, they collected cards for hitting the green on the par 3 holes. At the end of the event, the team that had collected the best hand, so when they looked at their cards, they had 3 aces or a full house or whatever it is, the team that brought the cards in with the best house split the prize. So in this case, we had 24 teams. So we collected $2,400, and the winning team got $1,200 back. So they made money, they spread among their team members, and the nonprofit made $1,200. It's a fun contest, doesn't take any time, and all it costs you is 4 decks of cards, because you want to have decks of cards for pulling the cards. And the last one to do on the course is what I call Beat the Pro. You may have seen this in some events. I like having it in my events. Basically, you set it up on a par 3 hole. Golfers bet to beat the pro. They can bet anywhere from $20 to $100. Everybody takes their shots. Then you have the course pro come up, or it could be assistant pro, or it could be one of your volunteers who's a great golfer. I've used that as well. Somebody who's a scratch golfer. They take their shot. And any of the golfers who are closer than that person, who's closer to the pin than the pro, wins the amount that they bet. So if they bet $50, they win $50. So they get their original money back, and they win $50 in the pro shop. So if they bet $100 and they beat the pro, they get $100 to put in the pro shop, plus they get the $100 back. And your organization retains the funds from anybody who didn't beat the pro. Nice little fundraiser, great way to have some more fun on the golf course. Doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't take any time. And make sure that if using the pro, you want to give the pro some money for being out there that day. They're always looking for some extra bucks. So give them a couple $100 to be out there, or get a volunteer from your group who's a really good golfer to have fun out there. So let's now talk about what happens after golf. So immediately after golf, you have some other things you can do. First of all, you can do a shootout. It's a great sponsorship opportunity. Players can come in and take a shot, for anywhere from $1 million to $500,000. I just did a shootout in Florida where we had $18 million shots. If somebody makes the shot, you can set it up so $500,000 goes to the winner and $500,000 goes to your organization. Or if they're doing a $500,000 shot, it's $250 to the winner, $250 to your organization. These are insured contests that we'll provide the insurance for. They're not exciting, not expensive. They're very exciting, but also gives you the ability to go ahead and advertise and say, come out to my golf event. You're going to have a chance, to win $1 million. Somebody's going to take a shot for $1 million. If you're having a silent auction at the end of your event, make sure you promote your auction, stage in an area where players are now gathered, the award ceremony, announce when the auction items are closing, stage the closing time for items to avoid long checkout. So what I do is I say, okay, we're going to close table 1 at 5 p.m., table 2 at 5:30, table 3 at 6. That way there's not a big line at checkout, so you can finish up your auction, make some additional funds as well. And then people miss this sometimes. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just ask. I'll have a sign that just says, here's an event I do again in St. Louis. And I just say, look, if you'd just like to make a donation, a $150 donation is going to help cover some medications and textbooks. The $250 donation is going to give entrance fees, again, to some counseling sessions. So just ask. Sometimes it doesn't hurt. Say, hey, thanks. Didn't you have a good time today? If you really believe in our cause, do me a favor, just make a donation. You can go over that table over there. We'll take your donation. We'll get you a tax receipt for it afterwards. So sometimes just asking is a way to raise more money. Last part, if you're going to be building momentum for 2023, again, a lot of missed opportunity here for people, is early bird special. While they're there, they're at your event. I say to them, look, didn't we have a great time? We cheer, we applaud. Then while you're here, stop by that table by the door as you're leaving and sign up for next year. We're going to guarantee that you're going to get your spot for next year. You register now, and there's no increase. You can register for next year. And if we have an increase in cost, you're going to pay the current rate for it. So why not ask people, why they're there. They had a couple of beers, they had some real fun, and say, do me a favor, let's register now for the event. If they have to cancel later, that's fine, but it's a good time to ask. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So it's just something that people don't do, and I wish they would. Again, I knew I went quickly on this one. I hope you got some ideas that you found useful. If you want a copy of the presentation, just send a note to Paul at Perfect Golf Event, and I'll be glad to send it to you. And if you have questions, send it to support at Perfect Golf Event, or myself will send you the forms or the printout. And listen, have a great event. Hope you'll join us. Hope you're using Perfect Golf Event. We like to have people have successful events. Thanks again for being here.